everybody. Welcome to the Bachelor party. That's right. On tonight's edition of this live stream, it'll be the most dramatic evening you've ever spent pre-Bachelor ever, because these folks have now seen tonight's episode. That's right. I've only actually seen the last couple of minutes because I just got done with World News. So I was like running up here. I saw the last few. I'm mind blown. We will not ruin anything for anybody that's listening, but we wanted to just bring you in, and I thought, why not, with a group that just saw some of the freshest crying drama, and it wasn't just from the girls. I said, Mitch, my new friend, who's watching The Bachelor for the first time this season, he's a crier.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But
every episode.
You also have cried in the past year.
This is true.
Which was
My wedding day.
See? So that my husband cries a lot. I mean, like, he's putting him and Nick are neck and neck on crying. But this is an emotional show.
Absolutely.
Did you start to feel for him?
Like
you
more
found
for
your
the
ride.
ladies.
More for the ladies.
Yeah.
It is tough. Are you getting into it? Because I always
completely, yeah.
Doesn't
I mean, I left work early. I sprinted into the train. Couldn't miss it.
You hear this? This side, I was talking to you guys about a couple of the ladies. We love Raven. She seems like a very sweet girl, having a tough time understanding her. Sometimes the accent.
Subtitles.
She probably thinks we're difficult to understand, so I get it. It all makes sense. But some of the others, you guys have front runners? You have folks that you think are gonna...
Oh, there's no spoilers.
Rachel.
Yeah.
Vanessa. Rachel's almost too good.
Yeah.
Yes, makes sense.
Vanessa, yeah.
She's smart. Put together. You guys have any outliers? Anybody gonna call like a crazy audible?
I'd love for Corinne to win.
Yeah.
I want to.
So you're on the Corinne train.
I'm on the Corinne train.
Do you know that someone told me that her nanny really was a nanny for her younger sister because her mother was in cancer treatment? I'm like, that was strange. I love Corinne. What just happened? No, I'm sure there are some negative things still to be said. So we like the Vanessa, the front runner, the Rachel. Who else makes it into the top three? Like
Raven.
I'm hoping
Raven.
Raven.
I think so too.
Yeah.
If he can understand.
What up,
her.
guys?
That was obviously a surprise, just in case anybody was noticing.
Did I forget anyone? I'm well. How are you guys? I don't mean to interrupt.
No.
We're just really good. You made some good decisions.
Are we okay?
Yes.
Who's Team Corinne here?
No.
She's like fascinated.
There are two people in this world: people who are Team Corinne, and people who pretend they're
Which
not.
one are you?
Well, I'm just gonna sit down if that's okay.
Here, you can have this seat.
No. My student.
Actually, Nick, there be anybody who can sit center so that we can get everybody.
You're right. You feel like sun.
No, Mitch, you're good. Mitch, this is first. This is your first. This is your first surprise, your first Bachelor surprise of the season?
In New York.
In New York.
Definitely was first.
Hey guys, we are the first.
Yeah.
That counts for something.
We did the whole tour with Chris Harrison last Monday.
Saw you fly in today. Saw your Insta story. Thanks. You put on different pants, I noticed.
I did.
Very
There were
nice.
holes in the other one. I thought I'd class it up for ladies and gentlemen.
Emily says thank you.
You're very welcome.
Mitch, we were just talking about crying because that's a prominent part. Even people that haven't seen the episode.
Oh, it's aggressive.
It is.
Yeah. This episode.
Are you super hydrated? Is my question.
Always.
Yeah.
An extra amount because we're in the warm weather areas, so we had to. Oh, you don't. I can't say. I don't want to.
No. Yes, I mean, yeah. Weather areas. That's pretty.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to give the next location. You're not there yet.
Yeah, we're not. They are. They're.
Yeah.
We
We're watching it for the second
We
time.
watched it. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So same time. Yeah. Oh, so you saw it already. Wow.
Just finished, like moments before. So this is now replaying again.
What do you guys think?
Most dramatic episode ever.
Because Harrison would be
Did she actually
proud.
apply pressure on your neck?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
just
scary.
Yeah.
She was a treat. There was actually even more than that.
Go on.
Please don't.
No, she's lovely.
Is it hard to remember going back when people are like referencing your life more than you can even recall, like what happened? I would feel like there'd be so much going on, and then people are like, what was this like?
I mean, I have a pretty vivid memory
Okay,
of
you're
it
good at
all.
that?
Yeah.
Of course.
But there's other things that it's more like I will think of the other things you don't see. And I'm like, oh my god, there was that.
The untold story.
But yeah, so it was.
Anybody else have any like burning questions right now? This is pretty amazing that we get Nick time.
It's not that
Blanking.
It's pretty special.
Do you watch every episode?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually get to watch it before. I have to write the blog, so I have to know what's on there because I mean there is a lot that doesn't make it. There's just not enough time.
Why'd you send Alexis home?
Good question. I will be honest. That was something I feel like I need to apologize over. It was unfortunate, but it was his time. I think we were just more friends.
Yeah.
That
The credits for the best
cool.
part.
No.
Yeah.
She was meant for paradise, not for me.
Yes. When she put the mask on and they did the after part, that's exactly what I thought. That's friendship, like a good laughter.
Yeah, she is actually, and she is as awesome in person as she comes across. She is super
We should have
funny.
invited her. She's right across the river.
Yeah, I mean, maybe, but she is really cool. She's one of my favorites for sure. She's super funny.
Is there? I just need to know for my own person, like. 2-on-1s, there is no like you have to get rid of 3 this week. There's no limit. There's no. It's really,
No, I mean again, like the 2-on-1s. There's always the one stays, one goes. But really, I could keep both of them if I wanted to.
Right.
And quite honestly, on the 2-on-1 with Danielle L and Whitney, like I went into that day thinking I could keep both of them. It was very much kind of a wild card game for me. So.
What was the thing that flipped with Danielle?
So you know, remember? Well, give an example. remember when I don't know if you paid attention to this particular part, but when I asked her, like, all right, if you could throw out honesty and trust, because let's assume. Like, give me some adjectives that you'd want to describe your relationship, and she said, trust and love.
Yep.
You want it wrong.
Well, I mean, we just didn't really connect in other ways,
You're saying
right?
it, not saying it. Got it.
Complexity.
Yeah.
A little bit.
So-
Yeah. That makes sense.
Very nice, though.
Yeah.
It was very nice.
How do you remember all the girls' names on the first night?
It was very difficult. Well, first, it was like a priority for me. So the women come out 4 or 5 at a time in each limo, unless like you're running up like Sarah, or you're coming in on a camel. It's kind of a one-off situation. So with each of the ladies, then there's always like a minute or two before they get out. So I'm like, oh, hi, this is Raven. Okay, Raven. I try to word association. So it was a big goal of mine to like keep repeating it in my head, and then I had people helping me.
You have a good memory. You must.
I have a pretty good memory, but it was funny because the only girl who called me out that night because most girls like don't do that. They're not like, do you remember me? Because like, there's a good chance I might not. It's kind of a jerk move to like be like. So one girl did that, and it was I don't know. Well, I would send her home night one. It was Ida Marie, and she's like, "Do you remember my name?" And I was like,
No.
I'm like, "Is it Ida?" So I got it right, kind of. And she's like, "Ida what?" And I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't know. And then she's like, "It's Ida Marie," and I'm like, "Well, can I just call you Ida?" She's like, "No, it's Ida Marie." And in my head, I'm like,
You're going, no, I'm not going to yours.
but she was the only one who called me out. Most of them were. But after night one, I pretty much knew them all because it was I got pictures after night one. They're like studying. I mean, like there's only way to do that. So I had it pretty nailed down after the first day, within the first day of dating.
I'm gonna ask, and I don't, because she probably needs subtitles for us, but is Raven difficult to understand? We're having a hard time understanding her accent. She's so cute and we love her very much.
I tease her about her voice.
Yeah.
And I also got better at practicing. I was
like listening to it.
Nick. I really warmed up to it, but like Raven, well, you saw the one-on-one. It was like Raven. She night one. I even told her like I don't want to say I didn't notice her because I certainly noticed her, but she's not someone night one popped for me. And it wasn't until our first conversation on our first date where we had a pretty good conversation because I kind of did in the back of my mind, like with the voice, I was like, like But Raven's very smart, very intelligent, very interesting. The voice kind of.
Yeah, there was one line in here where I walked in, I'm like, what'd she just say? I can't understand it.
What was it, the haunted house? And she's like,
Oh my God.
I want to praise Jiggy. Like, okay. But she's lovely.
Any others? Guys, I know you're just holding back
Do you
right
ever
now.
get to actually eat dinner when you go on a date?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the food that is there that you see is actually edible. It's a meal. Often it's very good, but usually it's been out there for like an hour or two and it's cold. I personally don't like cold food that's meant to be eaten warm. That's just but you actually eat before, right? So like there's always that day portion and the night portion of the day, and you usually separate most of the time.
So you get a moment to eat alone.
You freshen up, usually you change, and that's mostly because they want to have conversations. It's hard to understand when people are chewing food.
Well, the shot of you alone at the table was very sad. And that's what really hit me. You sit back down with the full steak in front of you, and we all noticed that. It's really upsetting.
Which is funny. As a kid, I used to hate it when no one ever ate on sitcoms.
Yeah.
And there'd always be this food, and you're like, eat the food.
Yeah.
Like Macaulay Culkin Home Alone, he makes that macaroni and cheese, and then all of a sudden it's 9 o'clock. It's just like, come on, let the kid eat. And it's always bugged me. So I feel your pain.
Yeah. What I noticed, obviously, food obsessed.
How much do you sleep?
Not a lot. Very little. You don't sleep a lot as cast members. You sleep even less as the Bachelor. It's like 19-hour days, 20-hour days. Wow. 18 sometimes.
For love.
A lot.
Yeah. Pardon me?
Anything for love.
Do you go into each day kind of knowing what you think your decisions are going to be?
I think you sometimes have an idea, and sometimes you are surprised, and sometimes you are like, okay, this is, maybe this will be like. I think with Raven is a perfect example. Is like I didn't really notice her at first. Then we had a conversation. Okay, this is someone who's pretty cool, and then we had our one-on-one, and I was like, okay, wow. And so that was a good example of that. I guess I assumed that maybe I'll give her a rose, but I mean, as you see on this episode, when I wasn't feeling it, I sent people home.
Yeah.
So I kind of left it pretty open. So.
I don't remember her name, but do you know the girl in the gold dress at the very beginning? And you let her go. This is all sequin. Oh, what was her
Night
name?
one?
Night one.
Gold dress?
And I think she was.
Oh, Kristen.
I think so.
The one who.
I I don't know
Tattle
why.
Liz?
Is that what it was? No, she didn't.
She's the only one who wore a yellow dress. The ball.
No, it wasn't yellow. It was like
She wasn't in red.
Like a sequin in it. Not in red. She was like, it was one of those.
Blonde hair?
Yes.
What?
I don't remember her name, but anyway, I was really thrown because I'm like, but Sarah looks alone. Like this was me. Just not a thing. All right, cool. I didn't believe that for myself. But I was like, well, she's hot. Oh wow, there she goes.
It's always interesting what people look like on TV versus
Yeah,
in person.
that too. That and I.
Some
go
it's like
straight-
the same. Some
getting
it's
it now.
like, wow. Like,
Yeah, we need a
were-
side by
I was
side
straight
with
to
you.
breath.
on
Yeah,
this
you're
air.
I know. You saw it.
Yeah.
Breath was pretty good. They actually, the producers, even with me, like, cause you know you're always eating and drinking. I have a team of like Listerine strips, and that's just going around for everyone. Yeah.
That's part of the real life.
So everyone actually, because breath is a huge pet peeve. of mine.
Yeah, me
I
too.
don't
But
care
that's
what you look
smell
like.
to me is so important.
It's like whoa.
That's why. That's what I thought right away with the sequin dress one. I was like, she must have seen.
No, that wasn't.
Something was wrong.
That wasn't it.
No. Even if it was, I wouldn't expect you to say that. I just think that would be such a big deal to me. That and like skin, like stuff, like little stuff
Skin's
that we don't
also
get to see.
very
Yeah.
important. But
How you
that,
can see someone's hands, and I don't know. That's so important to me.
yeah, I mean, it's just. I think I might want. What's her name?
I didn't know Whitney's name this week. Like I'm really lost. That's
Whitney
my-
didn't.
She did not.
She did
Really?
not have airtime?
Like not at all.
Whitney's very, very quiet.
Mhm.
You know, and you know, she was someone like again very pretty, and she's very sweet. Like she's almost you wouldn't expect that with Whitney. She's very like model and she's pretty, and so there's maybe a level of sweetness you might think they might not have, and she's very, very genuinely sweet. But there was a bit of a tug and war trying to have a, but very, very nice.
Can you explain why everyone cried at the volleyball game?
Just like,
In separate areas?
Yeah. Played in separate places. I think if you haven't seen the episode, we'll appreciate the explanation.
I'll just say, I mean, you kind of saw it a little bit at that point.
Shots were fired.
he was getting thrown back.
Like there's a little bit of like beach activities, and at that point, it's funny because like the first group date, which was the wedding photo shoot, right? You know, Corinne's taking a camera, but like not just Corinne, like. You know, the date started and I was like, hey, listen, group dates are weird. Let's just have some fun. It was the first date. Let's just like get out of our comfort zone. And to my surprise, the women were great. Like they really embraced it. Like they were like grabbing my face and kissing me. Like it wasn't just Corinne. Like they were all just like kissing me. And I was like nervous. I was like, okay, like, all right, this is not what I expected.
It's that serious.
And they were all fine with it. But the truth is, at that point, they don't know me. Like I've spent one night with them. They're like, oh, this is a guy. Let's all make out with him. And I don't think that it's not really personal yet. And so at that point, you know, now we're in week what? 6? I mean, there's a lot of one-on-ones. There's a lot of personal relationships. I mean, not just weird, you know. And so you try to be a good sport and go on these group dates. I remember being on their shoes. These 2 weeks, like this week you're watching and the next week are easily the worst 2 weeks of the whole thing. Because you're still like living with your peers and you're like you care now and you see other people care and like it's a very weird feeling when you see someone go off on their one-on-one. And it's what you saw Jasmine said, they do come back different. And it's in different ways and it's like intimidating seeing someone come back. And it's just like, well, what did they do? What did they say? What did they talk about? Like, does it affect how, you know? And it just gets to you. And I think you just kind of see things boil over.
I think what I'm going to write is I said this is write to Rob Mills and say that they need to be seeing the entire date. And then you can really get some drama.
Yeah.
That's just me being really conniving. Like, that would really
You know,
go
sometimes that might make better TV, and sometimes it wouldn't. But it's just like the Truman Show. Like sometimes, you know, like on these dates, we are just talking about like normal things. And while it's important to me, and like sometimes people will be like, "Oh, why don't we see more conversation?" Truth is, you probably wouldn't find it that interesting. You know,
because you really do have to date a bit. You have to actually get to know each
yeah.
other.
And so,
Okay.
you know,
Well, you know what? You have a busy 24 hours, and these folks have to go watch The Bachelor. So they haven't seen it yet. So thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.